Hi guys, good afternoon and welcome to this session. So my name is Yi Chen, the organizer for this event. While we are waiting for the rest of the participants to join into our meeting room, so on the script, on this loading screen, we have the QR code and also the link to the Slido, which is the platform for you guys to post whatever question you want to ask and also vote for other question you think that is relevant and you want the speakers to respond to it. And then the moderator, Mr. Andrew, will ask on behalf to the speaker. And there's some gentle reminder here. Please have your mic muted throughout the whole session to ensure the whole smooth flow of the event. Thank you. Hello guys, good afternoon and once again welcome to this session. So my name is Yi Chen and the organizer for this event. While we are waiting for the rest of the participants to join into this meeting room, so on the loading screen we have the QR code and also the website link to Slido, which is the platform for you guys to ask whatever question you want to ask and also vote for the other question that you think is relevant and also you want the speakers to respond to it. Our session will start at 2 p.m. sharp. And there's some gentle reminder here. Please make sure your mic is muted throughout the whole session to ensure the smooth flow of the event. All right, it's 2 p.m. right now. So let's get the session started. So let's welcome Mr. Andrew Yap as the moderator of today, and also the speaker for today, Ms. Buspah from GECB. Let's welcome.
Okay, thanks a lot, Yishen, for the very clear instructions for our audience. So now let's move on to our main topic of today. So hi everyone, I'm Andrew here, and I will be the moderator for this session today. And we are very honored to welcome Ms. Buspah from GECB to become our speaker today. So let's welcome Ms. Buspah. Okay, Ms. Buspah is a partner, trainer, consultant at GE Consult Asia Sindh Berhad. So Ms. Buspah, do you mind to introduce a little bit more about yourself?
Yeah. Hi everyone. Thanks for joining. I'm Buspah Uierthiagan, so you can call me Buspah. I'm actually maybe I can start with my education. Yeah. So currently I'm doing my PhD in social psychology in University Putra, Malaysia. Before this, I did my master in management in Open University. And then I did my Bachelor of Degree in Information Technology, majored in Information Systems. Yeah. So I'm a certified trainer I'm a certified trainer for PMP as well. PMP stands for Project Management Professional Certificate, as well Prince 2. And I do have other certificates in terms of like Six Sigma Green Belt, IT processes, and other soft skills. So this is my education qualification. So in terms of experience in a working line, I have 16 years of experience working in IT MNC company. I held so many positions in the management level, head of department for IT processes. IT processes as in change management, release management, quality management, so managing the team. And apart from that, I've been head of global project management office, looking into the global projects, and also previously I've worked as a project manager, working global projects, and also currently I'm working as a trainer and consultant for GECB team, and I've experience in giving training and also consultation services under this team. Many trainings in the past I've conducted, like for example, organizational processes, PMP trainings, and other consultation services like improving the organization processes, their strategies and things like that. So that is a short summary of myself. Thank you.
All right, cool. Thank you for Ms. Buspah for like introduce a little bit about yourself. So okay, so since now we know a little bit about Ms. Buspah, so I will talk. Here is like I would like to introduce Fred Wu, which is Mr. Fred Wu is the CEO of GECB. So thank you for your coming to rejoin this session. And because of all of your contribution, we can make sure all of this virtual sharing session to be more and more successful. All right, cool. So okay, so actually GECB is expertise in SME and startup consulting, branding, and also business writing. So they guide their clients through the creation of effective human roadmap, financial roadmap, and business roadmap. So after introduce a little bit about GECB, so without further ado, let's move into our main topic of today, which is economic and consulting. All right. So first of all, as we know that the current pandemic, which is COVID-19 pandemic, hit startup and SME the most. So Ms. Buspah, can you maybe like share with us like let us know a little bit view about like what is the situation in the business currently?
Yeah. Okay. Today we are going to talk about the economy situation due to the COVID-19 and how it impacts the SME and startups. So in the first page, as you all can see, it's about the research that has been conducted on the current economic crisis and due to the COVID-19 and what happening to the SME and startups. Okay. So if you can see, these are the survey conducted, and MAGIC is a Malaysian, it is an industry, stands for Malaysian Innovation, Malaysian Global Innovation and Creativity Center. They have actually surveyed and estimated that 40% of these startups will not survive if the COVID-19 continues after May. So meaning to say 40% of industry will have a shortage of capitals to continue with their business. So in this case, it might come out for the business or will be impacted very badly. So this is the survey that done by the MAGIC company. And moving on to the next point is that there is an interview that has been conducted on all this industry. Out of this interview, it was notified that 66% of employees are working from home after this pandemic situation without any disruption, while only 6% of the employees are going to office. So then the rest are working from home with a minimal disruption. So this is the condition at this moment. And also, how does this situation impact chapter to enterprise level, it was mentioned that the large enterprises, few large enterprises have been closed down, okay, during this pandemic situation, and 66% of enterprises have affected significantly, like for example, the retailers, logistics provider, food processors, agriculture and food processors, commercial real estates. So all these industry are affected very badly. Okay. Yeah. But nevertheless, 26% of tech startups, they've seen some revenues rise because nowadays, in this situation, the locked up consumers consuming change their patterns, consumption patterns. They are doing more towards digitally. So they buy the digital products and services via online. So in this sense, the tech startups still making some business, about 26%. Yeah. But whether this will continue in the next few months, it was mentioned that after September they will not be survive for so long, many months. Yeah, because there's no revenue are getting lesser and the capital also going downwards. So they will not be able to survive for a long period of time. All right. So, and then before pandemic, the situation before this pandemic, what happened was that some of the investors provided the funds to these SMEs and startups, and also make some agreement on the funding commitment. But now what happened is, after this crisis, they make a different decision, meaning to say they're pulling back all the funds that they have provided and also cancelling the agreement that they have made. So this impact badly the SMEs and startups, where the SMEs don't have enough fund to continue or survive the current portfolio of the business.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is how badly the crisis impacted to all these.
Okay. All right. Cool. So, Ms. Buspah, since just now you mentioned about there's the fund for the startups actually is not really enough. So how do you think on the government initiative on giving them some incentive to really help on this SME? Do you think is it enough or it's not enough? And maybe you can give some opinion on that.
Okay, for maybe small businesses might be enough, but then they can't continue for so long because they have to, even though there's no revenue, but with that little money, they still have to run the current portfolio of business, right?
Yeah.
Without any revenue. So how long can they survive? Maybe like 1 or 2 more months, yeah? And they still have to pay the workers' salaries, utilities, and things like that. The expenses are still there. So there will be a little challenge, but at least they can survive some months.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So for the next part, so maybe you can maybe highlight some of the impacts that made to the business due to this pandemic, which is the COVID-19 pandemic, and to the businesses. Yeah, you maybe can mention some of the tips.
Impact.
Yeah.
All right. Due to this economic crisis, so what happening to the businesses is that, as mentioned, they can't see the revenue. Okay, when they can't see the revenue, with the little capital money that they have to spend for their worker salary, utilities, and other operating costs. So capital going downward, and it will affect them in the coming months very badly. Yeah.
Okay.
And then, like I mentioned previously, the large enterprise businesses have been closed down as well. Down. And most of the industries are now lay off the employees, contractors. And what happened is they lay off employees and contractors. What happened is their lack of resources. So at the end, they will face the operation issues. Yeah, and they can't run even the current business as well. Yeah, their business has been disturbed because of all these issues. And also, organization also looking into cost cutting. Okay, how do they cost cut? What they do is that they reduce the employees' wages, for example. Yeah.
Okay.
So all these
Not very.
impacts from the economic crisis.
Yeah.
Yeah, to everyone.
Okay, so so Ms. Webb just now got mentioned about like cut off employees. So is there any organization maybe or SME startup that's find you in consulting, like how they want to decrease down this reduction of the salary? Because I think like it's very hard to really like how to say to make this decision, as now like there's a lot of employees, they don't really have very stable income. So did any SME or startups, they could consult you on this kind of issues, or like the reduction of the employee's salary?
Yeah, they do approach in terms of reducing the wages, but then we still give some good advices that we have to have the employees continue the services because to run the current portfolio at least. And then let's say in future the COVID-19 has been recovered, for example, then the business will pick up again, maybe in another 1 year time. So they again have to have the resources to run the business, right? So they might see the impacts in a long term, like maybe another 1 year. So they have to be careful in making this decision. So this kind of advices we do give to the SMEs.
All right, cool. So so we maybe like move to the next topic, which is maybe you can just now, as we know, like there's a lot of impacts for these businesses and also SME startups. So what do you think like they can do in order to help them survive through this economic crisis? Maybe a little bit like more specific ways on like how they really want to go through this COVID-19 crisis. Yeah.
Okay. All right, so now SMEs and startups, of course, not everyone, they can close up the business, right? So they have to do something to run at least the current business, to ensure the client services are still being given. So what they can do is that these industries are approaching governments, banks for grants and loans. Yeah. So one of the survey have been done in this area. It was mentioned that 35% of the industry are asking for loans or subsidy from the government.
Okay.
And then about 24% of the industry asking for the loan repayment to be postponed. Yeah, and about 20% of this industry also asking for non-financial assistance. For example, business matching, market access, and capacity building. When I mentioned about business matching, is they are asking help to find businesses, and then market access, meaning to say find businesses from globally. And capacity building as in improving the current skills, the resources and infrastructure. So this kind of non-financial assistance also the industry are looking for. Yeah, so this is one of the way that SMEs can do. And apart from that, the partnership and alliances. Maybe, I mean, it is very important to take this opportunity, at this moment. What they can do is, look for partnership and then leverage the each other resources, and then become a strong entity in order to cater the new market dynamics and to go through the situation. And it also prepare a ground for their long-term partnership. Now they build a partnership, but it will be useful for potential long-term relationship, where they can, cater more businesses in the upcoming years, So that's one of it. And then clients are now panicked because of this pandemic situation. So what we're expecting from the SMEs is they need honest and constant communication to the clients. What's happening now? How is the situation? And whether they can recover all these losses, and the plan, the business plan, how to recover the situation, how to run the current portfolio in order to survive. So this kind of honest communication, we should engage the clients. That is the expectation from the clients, from the SMEs. So if they continue with this, maybe they can build a strong relationship with the clients. Yeah. So, and then apart from that, the adjusting payment terms to encourage early transfer, meaning to say, maybe before pandemic, the payment terms maybe could be like 6 months once, for example, 3 months once, for example. But at this very tight situation, what they can do is make the payment terms a bit more earlier so that the SME can get the income, earlier to at least survive, to run the business and survive. Yeah. So that's one of it. And also the SMEs or startups can look into the pricing of the current supplies. Maybe they can reduce the pricing so that the clients will, consume more products from them because the price lower down, right? So that's one of it. And then boost investment. Look for government support, the loans, or maybe look for other investor, to provide the funding so that the investment is stronger to run the business. And apart from that, SMEs is really seriously need to look into the other area. Shouldn't take this lightly. They have to have a frequent engagement session within the internal stakeholder, for example, like management team, the employees. Why am I saying that so? Is because the employees also have a good points, they can give a valuable guide in order for the management to see whether whatever decision that they are taking for running the business is right decisions, or maybe they can improve something and all that. And also employees are well known of the situation. So this strengthen the relationship between the internal teams where they will work as one team to improve the situation. Yeah.
Okay.
And then investing in the mindset of agility, looking into the current processes or improving the current processes. Maybe the SMEs might have a very lengthy processes, for example, which take a lot of time to run a certain business, for example. Maybe they can look into to simplify that particular processes or to automate it, to make it quicker, and then to look other ways how they can speed up certain deliveries so that they can make the clients happy. Yeah. So that's one of it.
Okay. Ms. Buspah, so it's a follow-up question. So now, because as we know, actually there's a lot of in Malaysia, there's almost very high majority is from the revenue is from the I think it's almost 30% revenue is from SMEs and even startups. So how do you think the government can help all of them? Because actually there's a lot they need to help if they really wanted to, but because in our situation we can see the government maybe they are unable to really give up all the loans or even grants for the SMEs and also startups industry. So how do you think maybe the SME can get help from where besides from the bank and also the government? Maybe you can have some examples also. It's fine.
Of course they can approach the consulting firms like our company, GECB. So our consulting firms provide the business plan for all these SMEs and startups to expand their business and to come up with the business plan, how to get the capitals. So that will help these SMEs and startups to actually to move forward. They can see the business plan, how to get the capital, so that will help them. And then also improve their current processes, and also the structure of the business itself can improve. So in this way, other than governments or loans, engaging consulting firms, they can come out with a very good business plans in order for them to continue to survive in the market.
Okay, so yeah, as we know, like maybe there is possible like second outbreak of like the COVID-19, because we don't know, like yeah, there are some like rumors, or even like there's like some warnings from even from WHO and our health minister as well. So how do you think like they can like do any preparation to really like overcome or be prepared for the second wave of pandemic? Yeah.
Okay, what they can do is that, of course, I can think of digitization now. We are going into that area, right? I mean, that era, digitization. So they can make more branding, marketing digitally, and then also, like I mentioned just now, that partnership to strengthen their current position, and then to continuously run the current portfolio and then expand slowly after the situation change.
Okay. All right, cool. So yeah, I think I'll move on to the next topic, which is yeah, as we know, like another heavily affected industry, which is retail industry. So in your perspective, what do you think is the key challenges encountered, and also like the possible opportunities that could be seized by them, like for the retail industry in this pandemic? Is it clear for the question?
Yeah, I'm clear, Andrew.
Okay,
Thank
sorry.
you.
Sure.
Yeah, thank you. All right. So impacts of the current situation on retail outlets. So clearly we can see that the current situation not only impacting the SME startups, but also the retail outlets. Retail outlets, they are running their business very traditional way. And then with the MCO, movement control order, and also the CMCO, making it even more difficult, and no tourists coming in, and then all these are impacted. Even the branded retailers also having a lot of losses, in 1 month. Yeah. So maybe I can go through this here. So based on the survey, about 40% of these retailers will not survive in the financial impact. So that's what the survey very much about. And then 70% of small and medium enterprises having a small capital to remain to remain for next 1 or 2 months. So because no revenues, the capital also going down, the investor are also pulling off all the funds, and then canceling all the funding commitments. So how are they going to survive? So they can only like predict about another 1 or 2 months time. Yeah. And as you all know, also the retail group Malaysia estimates that all the stores, in these 6 weeks ago have been closed. The retail outlets have been closed. That actually 61% is about 209,000 stores have been closed. Yeah, except there are some stores still open, like pharmacies, convenience stores, supermarket, mini market are still open, right? So yeah, that is at least running. Yeah, essential services. Yeah. And like I mentioned just now, for example, the famous retailer like Bonia Corporation, they also mentioned that about 77% losses because tourism, they can't travel anywhere, so they also loses business in that area. And also financial pressure. Retail outlets, they have to pay the monthly tenants, the rental, right? So they're having difficulty to pay because no revenue. They're not running the business, but still need to continuously pay the rental, the worker salary, because the government order that they still have to continue pay the workers, and the utilities bill. But nevertheless, some landlords are very understanding. They do waive the rental and give the rebates about 6 months. Only some. Yeah. So, but still, some still struggling on that area. And then, due to these pandemic situations, the force to be to run the business digitally has been affected to all these retailers. Yeah, so they have to look, they have to force themselves to look into other way to, sell their products digitally. Yeah, so this has been impacted. Yeah.
Oh, so yeah, like Miss Blessing, since you already like mentioned there are some like digitalization. So how about like there are some like stores they are unable to really sell effectively in the maybe like online marketing. So how do you think, do you have any ways like to boost up their sales in online? So for example, maybe there are some maybe food industry, because they are hawker store, maybe they are very hard to really like get into the online digitalization. So do you have any like suggestions for them to really like boost up their sales or even like revenue on that case? Is it?
Via digitization, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for example, tea leaf, they also pushing themselves going into selling the products digitally. But how can they improve in terms of getting more sales? Of course, changing certain way of working. For example, if previously it takes about maybe 1 hour to deliver, they could speed up the delivery maybe in half hour, 30 minutes time. So they have to improve the way they work, and then maybe give some promotion rewards to regular customers, rebates, so that they can still get the same clients to come over there. I mean, to purchase on and on. Yeah. So that's one of the way that they can improve.
Okay. Oh, so as we know, like there is like the COVID-19 crisis. Is it affected the consulting industry? So maybe you can maybe like let us know a little bit like what is the opportunity that consulting industry can exploit during this COVID-19 crisis.
Okay. Since almost across the globe, all the SMEs, startups, retailers have been impacted. This is actually, we can see in a positive way for all the consulting firms. This is the right time because even the business, they can't come out with an improvement plan and a proper business plan to move forward. They are stuck because they are shocked with this situation. No one expected this to be right. So they are engaging more and more consulting firms like our company GECB, in order to build come up with some business plan where they can in terms of getting help on loans, for example, the capital investment, to come up with a proposal so that they can use that, and then to improve the current way of working structure, to totally change their current way of running the businesses, to see how it could change. So consulting firms can make this as an opportunity. Although now we are working digitally, what consulting firms can do, need to do, is that we need to hire more consultants. More consultants comes and join the digital team now, to digital teams, and support digitally all these businesses now. So more business are going to come to the consulting firms, because they're looking forward to change the way that they're working to make revenue even in this situation. So consulting firms have to hire more consultants, and then manage the clients in a better way. Yeah, even digitally.
Also, which means like the demand, how about the demand? Is it like it can be more increasing during the COVID-19 crisis, or it's still the same compared to before the COVID-19 crisis? Or
Okay. Yeah. Previously, before the pandemic, everything runs smoothly. They already have the structure, how they're going to work, business running smoothly, revenues are coming, but they do still engage the consulting firms, just to improve the processes to become better, or maybe to automate certain things. They do engage the consulting firms. But now, at this situation, more and more firms are clueless how to change their current strategy to bring back the revenues, and then they even look for some advice how to use with the current fund, the current capital, whatever funding they have, how to survive the businesses in the next few months until the COVID finish. Yeah. So since it's globally have been impacted and all the firms are impacted, they are looking more and more this kind of firms like GECB to provide them advice, provide them the business plan, proposal, so that they can improve to be better. So I think this is the opportunity for all the consulting firms actually.
So yeah,
in a
which
positive
means
way.
like the graduates also can find more jobs also in consulting industry, is it?
Exactly.
Yeah, so audience, please take note. All right, cool. So since like just now we got mentioned about like the consulting firm. So how about like the transition from a student to a professional consulting associate? So for example, like maybe you can give us some advice like how we going to transit from a student to a professional consulting associate, such as like you. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. This is about transition of student to become a professional consulting associates. Okay.
Yeah.
I will share with to all the students. There are a few steps that I want to share. The most important thing is that as a consultant, we need to have certain important skills. Yeah. So one of the skill is analytical skills, because as a consultant, the role is to actually gather all this data, yeah, from the survey, from the research, gather all this data, and then they have to, analyze this data and do a trending. So this kind of activities require the analytical skills. So what the students can do now itself is to brush up their analytical skills. Yeah, nowadays they can find a lot of online free courses, short courses that they can attend and improve their analytical skills. Yeah, something is very important as a consultant. Yeah, and apart from that, as a consultant also, we need to meet a lot of clients, and then we are required to change the business strategies, need to give a proper business plan to the clients, right? So what needs to be done is, as a consultant, a lot of pressures they will face. So in this case, there are certain attitude that the student have to have, is that handling pressure, an attitude that they can handle, overcome the stress, handle any pressure that comes along the way. These are the emotional well-being. If they can take care of the emotional well-being, so they can become a good consultant for future. So that's one of the steps. And the second step is unique pitch, meaning that every students, when they go to the workplace, they will prepare a resume. In the resume, it will be very beautiful with the certification, from which university they're coming from. But on top of that, they have to explain about their skills that they obtain, how these skills actually match the role of consultant. So they have to explain clearly why are they fit for that particular position. Clearly, they have to explain in the resume, so that when the people who evaluate the resume, the employers who evaluate the resume, they clearly know that, okay, this person match the consulting role with their skills, and all that. So they have to clearly explain that in the resume. Yeah. So that is the second step. And then another important thing is that during the job interview, so during the job interview, they have to sell themselves, meaning to say they need to explain about the skills that they obtain from maybe their college life, how they build a network with another college, for example, in any workshop or forums that they have joined, building the network, their communication skills. So all this experience, they have to tell it to the employer who interviewing them. So the employers who evaluating them will be impressed. So this is the third part that is very important for students who has the wishes to join in a consulting firm.
Okay, so since we know like like this is a little bit like the transition. So I think like all the audience can take note on the things like how the student can really become like professional consultant. So maybe like can we know a little bit about like maybe what is the key qualities that is expected in a professional consultant? Yeah, Miss Buspah, is it clear for a question?
Yeah, very clear.
So maybe you can like explain a little bit like what is the key qualities are expected in a professional consultant.
Okay. In a professional consultant, of course, the important part is that, like I mentioned, the skills are very, is required. Yeah, the skills, the important skills for to become a consultant, the analytical skills are very important. So, for example, students who joining the industrial training, for example, yeah, maybe that is about short months, right? 3 months or 6 months, depending, right? So when they join a workplace during this time, maybe the students can make this as an opportunity to build a network in that company, to build a network within that company with the management, having a proactive initiative during their stay in that for the training, doing some presentation where they can, create some presentation skills, build the presentation skills and, confidently communicate. So when they do this, the skills actually will not be only theory, but in a practical life, So it's a real skills that have been applied, it's very important because we always mention in the resume that we have this certificate, we have these skills and all that, but it's all theory. But whatever certification we have, whatever theory that we have, we need to learn to apply it. When we apply, it will be a habit to carry out throughout our life. Yeah, even personal life or also in the workplace in the future.
Okay. So okay. So maybe like maybe you can like can tell us a little bit like is it like during because now COVID-19, as you said, like the demand is keep on increasing, and so how do you think like is it like very overworked for all the employees in the consulting industry, or still okay you can handle for currently? So maybe you can like tell a little bit like how is your life during this COVID-19, so that is it more busier compared to previously, or like very very busy compared to like previously?
Yeah, of course, now the demands are higher and we're becoming very, very busy. But nevertheless, we need to continuously support the clients because that's our business as well, right? So we have to, provide the best advice as possible, plan for them to continuously for them to stay in the market. So it's our job. But what we can improve as consulting firm is to stabilize and to manage this the high demands from the market. What we can do is that, getting more consultants, okay, to get more consultants and then build the digital team, maybe, segregate into different services, maybe a different customers or managing a different region of customers. So have to, plan, build a strategies to strengthen, to continuously support all these clients because that's our core business. We need to support the clients wherever possible, whether it's monetary terms or whether it's finding for partnership. Some businesses, they look for partnership, right? They're struggling to look for partnership. So in that sense, also, company like our consulting firms like GECB, we do help, getting more partnership for them, help them, getting more partnership, and maybe also in this, how to say, shock situation for all the SMEs, right? They don't know what to do with the current structure or processes. They're struggling. So we need to continuously support that. The only thing is that we need to build our team more bigger, expand the consulting firms teams so that we can support the higher demand.
Okay, so yeah, we know like because like at the first like opening of like the very near when suddenly the government like announced like MCO, so there's like a lot of like the industry they started to close down like suddenly, right? So how about like consulting industry? Is it like did you all like suddenly quite shocked for the suddenly close of business, and also like did you continue to work from home or even like start to how do you like deal with your customers during this pandemic? Yeah.
Okay, it is actually unpredictable situation not only for consulting firms but to all the industries, right? This situation is unpredictable. Suddenly it happens, and but then we have to still manage that situation. We have to look into some ways that how to manage things in a better way. That's what I can say. So, but then in terms of the challenges that the consulting firms face is that clients require transparency. They are demanding the transparency, higher quality work, faster delivery in terms of the services that we are giving. So we have to manage that. We need to learn to manage the clients, the stakeholder. Yeah. So maybe we have to ensure that we meet their requirements. So if they need a faster delivery, we have to ensure that we improve our processes to become better in order to manage their requirements. Yeah. So of course, supporting digitally is something we need to improve as well. I think this situation is an opportunity for all the people over the world, to move things now from traditional way of working to digitization.
Yeah.
Even in future, everything, the technology is like moving so fast, changes like they're going to be, artificial intelligence, a lot of things like being automated, and robotics in future, robotics may take place, certain works. So things are changing, moving very fast. Maybe, so what I'm saying is that this situation, we can also take it as an opportunity, to learn some skills that even we don't know. Sometimes we need to attend the calls, the meetings via mobile devices, for example. So some people don't even know how to, access that. So these are the skills that everyone can learn, even for students as well. They can learn, they can get some computer skills in advance, usage of the mobile devices. They can improve there, so that when they go to the workplace, it's all like something, that they already like have that even during college time. So it will be for them to just apply it when they are in the workplace.
Okay. So how about like just now you mentioned a little bit the process of delivering your like services through digitalization. So is it like will be faster now compared like through digitalization or compared to the traditional way? Which one do you prefer for now? Like yeah.
Yeah. All right. So if the traditional way, sometimes you can, if you want to buy certain products, right, you can touch, you can see in front of your eyes how's the product like, the quality like. But with the digitization, there's no guarantee, right? I mean, you will order certain products, but the quality wise, it will not be guaranteed. But in this case, the SMEs need to ensure that their quality and delivery is number one. So these are the two things that the clients are looking. Your quality have to be high, your speed also have to be high. So when you maintain, if all the businesses maintain the quality and the delivery, the speed, I think clients will adapt to the changes. They will also go into the digitization. They will not mind, because of how we are moving towards the technology era. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, like Miss Musra, so I think like maybe we move to the another part. So okay, as we know, like the audience here, like majority they are from students from university. So there is one of the main concern by them, which is the employment rate, because as we know, like COVID-19 has already made the employment rate decline year by for currently. So how do you think this situation will last for how long? Yeah, so we know the unemployment rate is it keep on increasing. So how we there's any stop point, or even in the future, how long does it last?
Okay. Of course, the COVID-19, no one can predict how long it will continue. That we cannot be sure on that. But one thing is that upon completion, upon how to say the stop of COVID-19, let's say maybe it stops maybe in July, for example. So upon finishing the COVID-19, right? So it will take another 1 year for all the businesses to come up again, to pick up again, to get back the revenues that they have lost. So so it will take another 1 year. So maybe the employment rate, of course, it will be disturbed in that 1 year period of time until the businesses grow and come back to the revenue phase again. But nevertheless, we shouldn't give up. There are a lot of other activities that we can still do. For example, the consulting kind of stuff. So there are some employment rates are increasing. For example, digital marketing, because everyone is going into digitization. So the jobs of digital marketing may increase. So we have to see what are the jobs that increase in the market for this situation. Yeah, one of the example is consultation. That jobs are very clearly can be seen is increased because all firms require advice, business proposal from this consulting firm. So we have to find out which are the jobs that require our services. So we joined that.
Okay, so maybe you can have any suggestions that any specifically industry that can be tapped into, because we know there's a lot of people will be graduating soon. So maybe you can give some advices what industry they can tap on, maybe some examples.
Yeah.
So
for
have
example,
a potential improvement. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, sure. Sorry.
Yeah, I can relate this my own company GECB in this
Okay.
case. So GECB, as you all know, is a consulting firms that actually giving services to all the clients to in terms of the help on their capital company, SMEs and startups capitals, and then improve their strategies, and then looking for for partnership. So these are the services required by our consulting firms, right? So they can join our firm to help in terms of this kind of services, because this is the moment that we are required in the market.
Okay.
This is one of the example. Other example is e-commerce, of course, because now all the transactions are being done online. So e-commerce also will increase. Digital marketing as well. Yeah.
Okay, so how maybe you can share some experience on how you from previously maybe a student become a professional. So maybe there's any very advice for them to really learn up and brush up during this time, because as we know the market will be more and more competitive, and because maybe they are limited to some only, not all industries they are requiring employees now. So maybe you can maybe let them to brush up those skills so that they can really tap into the industry more efficiently and effectively, and also faster.
Yeah. Okay, from my experience here, previously I don't have much knowledge, from the college. When I moved into workplace, I only have the skills in the theory level. So when I went into the workplace, I struggled a little bit. So I maybe, for example, how do I struggle? For example, typing skills. I can't type fast. So my management will show the frustration. Why are you typing so slow? Something like that, right? So My advice is that to students that it's not only to have the skills on a paper, but also using it in a practical, in a real life. For example, when I said, they joined the industrial training, for example, they have to proactively show their communication skills, show the presentation skills, build the network. As a trainee, when I see in my real life experience, when they join the company, some trainees are very shy to talk. They don't build network. They are just like robot. I mean, they give one work, they complete, and then they go back. So something like that in the past. But now what I can recommend to students is that, proactively, you need to change the way that we work now. Even though you are joining as a trainee, you have to show your blueprint of what you're going to become in future, as an employee. From trainee, like maybe skills from your college life, the communication skills, how you build the network, the same thing you have to apply when you go into workplace. So the moment the management or the company higher level see you, that you have all these skills and you know how to apply it in the workplace, definitely they will think that you are an asset. Even though we are in the competitive situation, but the moment you know how to apply all these soft skills, like presentation skill, communicate well, proactively, even after you finish your work, proactively ask for more things to do and things like that. So it shows you have the very high level of confidence, and they will think that you are an asset. And then, after your training, they will continuously keep you longer as an employee. And that's when your journey starts. You will start to improve yourself, upgrade your skills, and then slowly you will be promoted and things like that. So that's one of it. And then now itself, students, whenever I mean they have a free time, they can join the online, develop the skills. I mean, like attending the workshop, maybe online workshop, forums. What happened here is that, in a forum or workshops, that a lot of people will join. There could be someone like maybe the experienced employees. So when they join this kind of forums, they will start building the network with all of them, and then gain their knowledge, their advisors, so they can see how they work. So all these are ideas for them to use when they go to the workplace. So attending a workshop and forums also develop confidence. And then, as I mentioned, having a skill, the important skills. So we need to look into what are the skills required in the market. For example, even it is as simple as computer skills. Not everyone can use a computer, right? So, but then you can little bit brush up the skills like Microsoft Excel, Microsoft Word are the two important stuff, or access that you will be using in the workplace. So maybe you can look into it, because as a consultant also you may use Excel to collect the data, to make it a macro, and then to automate it. A simple Excel also nowadays can make it as automation. So you can look into the skills now itself. And then digital marketing, for example, so they can gain knowledge in that area. Apart from that, soft skills, this one I really want to highlight. We take things lightly, especially when it comes to soft skills. We think that we know how to communicate well. We think that, oh, we know how to manage certain problems because we already go through in the personal life. But then actually, when it comes to workplace, that will be even more challenging. The pressure is high, even more challenging. But then everyone, can go through this situation. How? That you need to now itself, before even you join the workplace, you need to get some presentation skills. Like I said, the online, maybe there's a lot of free courses, for example, short courses. Then the communication skills, and then problem solving, critical thinking, and then how you manage your emotion, when you go to a workplace, you can't show the emotions to any of your colleagues or management. You have to manage the stakeholder in a proper way, you know. So there will be like 10 people that you will meet in the workplace, and then you need to really manage them well, you know. So these are the skills. Soft skills are very important for students. So rather than waiting to be learned after you enter the workplace, I would suggest that now itself they can go through and get ready.
All right, cool. Thank you, Ms. Buspah, for the very insightful and also fruitful sharing for this, like in the economic and in economic and consulting part. So now we move to the Q&A session, which is the question asked by our audience and so public. So I will try to go through all the questions as possible, but I will try to filter up like some of the questions that is relevant to be asked. So I hope like the audience would be fine with that. And because I will try to go through all the questions. Because of time limitation, maybe we cannot go through all. So yeah, this is like for the expectations, I think. So yeah, there's one quite interesting question asked by our audience here. So she's asking like, Ms. Buspah, can I know like how do you manage your time usually? I think maybe she's meant like maybe how do you manage your time during your work and also your lifestyle again. So maybe you can share more about that.
Okay. In the past, what I see is that the employees are very much focusing on career, you know. As long as they can make the career life happy, we can get money, and then that's it. But nowadays, I see more and more employees, they are getting the awareness that the well-being of employees are very important, because we are healthy, we manage our emotion level well, that's when we can continuously contribute well to the organization, am I right? So it's a win-win situation. So the well-being of employees is very important. So how you do time management is that if you are given a certain amount of workloads in the organization, so you prioritize. Prioritization is my technique. So I prioritize which one having a tight deadline, which one required management urgency. So you prioritize. Okay, this kind of works you have to deliver as speed with a speed, you know, with a high speed, and then certain things can be planned. You know, as a you know, certain activities can be planned. That means you plan now, you execute tomorrow, for example, so that you can wait. There's a waiting period that you can give them so that you can continue. So with this, you manage the workload in a proper way. At the same time, you go back home on timely basis, and also take care of your personal life as well. For example, maybe they want to, you know, join their hobby, badminton. So the health is very important. And sometimes you know, how to say, for example, they are not feeling well, for example, but some employees, they will force themselves, you know, to work even though they are in a medical leave. So this kind of stuff we should avoid. When you're not feeling well, you need to get the rest back and be healthy. So this is how I manage the time: prioritization and simplification. Another part is that simplification. For example, current way of working is very traditional, like a lot of manual stuff that we do, right? So I will always think, because I've involved in an automation project in the past. So about 100 over use cases under my project, we managed to you know, convert from manual way of working to automation. So when you convert from manual to automation, wherever possible, your time is minimized there. If let's say your Excel, every time you input data in a single entry, rather than doing a, you know, like some programming, some scripts that you can insert, you know, that can automate. So it makes your life easy, and also the accuracy is there, and your time is reduced there. Your time is reduced. So this is how you need to manage. So the important part is prioritization, simplification, and your well-being have to be taken care of as well.
Okay, thank you. So for the next question is like, is there any possible to change the buying platform from offline to online markets in Malaysia after finish the MCO?
I don't understand the question. Can you repeat that?
Okay. Is any possible to change the buying platform from offline to online markets in Malaysia after finish the MCO? I think what he mentioned is like, yeah, is it still possible for the buying platform, like like retail store, they change from offline, which is the traditional way, to online now. So after the end of MCO.
Yeah. I think like I mentioned just now that we are moving to fast technology. Everything in the speed. Everything is like have to be handled via digitization. So when this happens, I think we have to immune to this kind of working. So that when we can digitize in a certain ways, in a certain things, then we can also focus in other things as well. We have another time that we can focus on other matters as well. So they can, of course, after the MCO, so they can continue digitization. The only important part is that for the business is that they have to focus on the marketing, their branding. As long as the quality is high, the speed is there, you don't disappoint clients with your low quality products, and then you continuously do your branding, your marketing, I think it will work well. So you will see in the future most of the business will be online. I think they will be immune to this situation.
Okay, so for the next question is also from another animus. So which is like, what is the impact of MCO to transport and logistic industry?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I understand. So I think in the beginning of my presentation, I spoken about the 66% of the industry have been affected significantly. One of it is the logistic provider. So logistic provider, how they're impacted is that now there's import export are less, okay, because all the countries are managing their consumption within their with the products that they produce within their countries, because of all these limitation due to the COVID. So I think the import export are getting lesser, and that directly impacting the logistics.
Okay, so for the next question is, give me a second. Okay, so generalist versus specialist, which is better?
Okay.
The question is,
yeah. Generalist, you will know a little bit of everything, right?
Okay.
So, but specialists, you will have high demand. When you're a specialist, like for example, consultant, you will specialize in a certain skills. For example, analytical skills, so which no one else has it, and at the end, your demand will get higher. Yeah, so you'll be very, the demand is higher when you have, you specialize in one skill. Like for example, DB Oracle support. DB, the database, DB stands for database, Oracle support. These skills, not everyone will have it, right? So if that one specific group or person has this knowledge, yeah, of course you need to study for that specialist area, right?
Yeah.
So your demand will be higher for that area. So they will call you, please. They won't approach anyone else because they will only approach someone that already specialized and expert. So the demand for expert is very high.
Okay, so for the next question is like, the supply of computer parts is unable to sell since the China manufacturer is unable to produce in the pandemic COVID-19. So how the seller can solve this problem?
Okay.
So do you get the question?
Okay, can I repeat the questions? It means the supplies of the computer parts is lesser, is it?
Yeah.
Because of China's stop. Okay.
Yeah.
initially, also in my presentation, I mentioned that 26% of the tech startups are making a revenue rise because nowadays the lockdown customers are, change the consumption patterns digitally. Yeah, they're buying the digital products and the digital services via online. So with this case, what we can do is we can, come up with these firms within the country itself. Maybe the existing countries also can see how they can increase the supplies rather than depending on other country. So like I say, in this case, we need an expert. So if they have, right expert, right specialist, like which I mentioned just now, I think they can, and the demand is high, of course, they can come out with more products.
Oh, yeah. So it means that we need to have some specialized from maybe like any field so that we can really create our own parts or even combine parts.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
So for the next question, which is, may I know why big companies still have to shut down their entire operation because of current pandemic situation that may have caused them suffer loss temporarily? Yeah. So, do you answer the question? Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, I understand. So why large enterprises close down, right?
Yeah.
Even though it's a short period of time. Okay. As I mentioned in the beginning, I mentioned that, the investors are pulling back the funds, whatever the agreement that they made for the funding commitment, they cancel it, right? So even though the large enterprise, they already, how to say, the capital going downwards because no revenue and the capital go downwards, and the funds are pulled back. So what they can do?
Yeah.
So they can't survive, so when the capital going downwards, they can't survive and no revenue. So what they do is that at last they, rather than losing even more badly in the coming months, I think they make the decision to just, shut off the business.
Okay, yeah. They want the short-term effect compared to the long-term effect.
Long-term, yes, that's right.
Cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, for the next question, okay, what are the challenges managing a global team when you were head of global project management office?
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I've managed our companies from all over the country, like for example, Netherlands, Slovakia, Germany, Hungary, Brazil. So the most challenging part is the language. Sometimes they talk fast, so you're a bit hard to catch up with them. So one of the number one challenge is language, yeah. But as you get used to it, because my main support is not in the local but globally, so I get used to it because many meetings that I have to do, many interaction I have to do. So when you already like immune to these situations, slowly you will pick up the language. Language. And apart from that, another challenge is that the timing wise, like for example, Germany, their morning time is 2 p.m. They start the work. For them, it's 7 a.m. For us, it's 2 p.m. So the timing is different. So if you want to arrange a meeting, you have to see whether they already, come to office, for example. And Houston team, they will only be available even more, in the evening. So you have to sacrifice, sometimes balance the time and see their availability and arrange accordingly. Yeah, in order to get their support. So that's another challenge that I face. But somehow, with the mutual understanding and a win-win situation, sometime, with a mutual agreement with other colleagues from other countries, I think we can win the situation. We can find the right slot and then arrange the meeting accordingly. Yeah, that's another challenge.
So just now, Mr. Like mentioned about since many of the clients from GECB is from foreign countries. So is it from transforming from offline to online is not something new for GECB, right? Is it?
Yes.
Or still okay. So it's is it the way of the presenting? Is it the same during the MCO or after the MCO? Is it still the same, or there are some changes as well?
I don't get your question.
Oh.
Can you repeat that?
Sorry, because since all of you is like still engaging with the foreign countries clients, so like is there any difference before the MCO and after the MCO? Which means the ways of delivering the services, or even like the ways of like communicating with them.
Yeah.
You know.
I think now we have to be like a little bit changes there. More transparency, faster delivery is expected by the clients. So in that sense, we have to cooperate with the clients, and then yeah. So that are the two different things that I can mention here.
So for the transparency, just I mentioned, like did they have any like other demands on like besides these two? Do you have any examples like maybe they have some very different kind of cases, or even different kind of demand that came up during this like COVID-19? Because do you get my question?
In terms of quality, because they are shocked with this pandemic situation. And then, of course, what they're looking is the quality has to be, good. And then what's happening here, they want to like know what's happening, what we are doing. A constant communication is required. So that are some of the changes. Constant communication, quality is required to be high, and faster delivery. So these are the demand from the customer.
Okay. So thank you for the question. So for the next question, which is many physical stores are going online due to this pandemic. So will that affect the departmental stores and also malls? What should the departmental stores and malls can do to solve the issue? Since they already have the established already, so how do you think like they can solve this issue?
Okay. Departmental stores, sometimes the stores are required to equip the products, right? To store their products, am I right? So it is still required, but maybe some business might have many stores, for example. But in this case, what they can do is that they can minimize the number of stores, so that they can reduce the cost, the operation cost, utility costs. They can avoid the additional rental. Rather than managing many stores for a single business, they can reduce the number of stores that they are having now. Maybe they can give away, few stores. I mean, the stores that they have, and just maybe maintain one single stores, because somehow the stores, the space is required to keep all their equipments, products, right? So that they can minimize the operating costs there.
All right, cool. So for the next question is, okay, so what is the difference between a normal consulting firm and a consulting firm and Big Four professional service firm, as well as the MBB?
Okay. I can tell you some differences. Maybe big consulting firms, some of the difference maybe not only their involvement is not only in the planning wise, but then maybe they have to deep dive into the execution itself. Like for example, setting up the KPI dashboard, during the execution, to monitor whether whatever the plans that they have submitted to a business is working well and achieving the goal. So there is additional extra steps that that it's a big thing. To establish the KPI dashboard is not an easy task. So the big consulting firms may be involved in the execution.
Okay, so for the next question, okay, so as a consultant, how many months of reserve do you think every SME should have in order to face this kind of crisis?
Okay. I think about 1 year. Like I mentioned, that upon COVID-19 stop, from that period of time until another 1 year, it will take time for all the SMEs to scale their business back, review whatever strategies they have, the structure that they have, the operating models that they have, improve the processes and everything. So it takes another 1 year for them to re-establish them.
Okay, so yes, as we know, like the work from home has been a very high demand currently. So do you think the option to work from home will be raised by employee in Malaysia after this pandemic?
I think yes. If we, this is a topic that I like since those days, because those days my experience was in IT line. IT line required you to sometimes you can work from home because you're managing not only local team but the global team. Like I say that when you're dealing with global teams, sometimes you have to work different hours and all that, right? So but for other industries, for other employees who are working in a different companies may feel weird, working from home. Maybe they feel stressed with the surroundings, the noise that could disrupt the way that work, from work from home, because they're not meeting face to face, right, with all the colleagues. But like I mentioned in the survey just now, about 66% of employees, based on the research, have been working from home without any disruption. Meaning to say it's a high percentage. Yeah, 66% are working without any disruption. Meaning to say, I think even MCO, after MCO, they can continue. But not in a stretch, because sometimes they have to see the well-being of the employees. Well-being of employees. If too much at home, also they might have stress. And if there could be a certain period where they need to meet their management employees to have a good discussion, to come up with a good idea. So there could be some period of time they have to go to office. But if they were to continue working from home, they have to see whether working remotely, if there's any security risks, they have to ensure that there is no security risk there. And because if, let's say, for example, our consulting firms are might be dealing with the confidential data from the clients, right? So the security is a very important thing. So as long as you are secured working from home, your health conditions are not too stressed and all that, I think they can continue practice this.
Right, cool. So for the next question is quite interesting. Okay, so okay, so for those startups that can't survive after June, if they implement the recovery strategy from now, is there any chances for them to rebound?
Yeah, it is possible. So that's why I mentioned that sometimes they can't do it alone. So that's when our firms, like consultation firms, goes in and intervene, in setting up the proper structure and the recovery and all that. So if they do with a good advice, I think it's possible to survive. But we need to look into how to change it, how to improve and all that.
Okay, so for the next question is like digitalization is approaching faster than expected with the push from the pandemic. How would you suggest SME in arranging their priorities? So should they focus on recovery first, or they should directly shift to the digital trend considering their capacity issue? So is it clear for the question? If not, I can repeat it again because it's quite long.
Yeah, can you repeat that again?
Yeah, sure. Okay.
Sorry.
So okay, because we know like digitalization is very approaching faster because of this pandemic. So maybe can you suggest SME in arranging their priorities in like they should recover first or directly shift to a digital trend?
If you ask me, they have to do both in a parallel.
Oh, yeah, in the parallel, okay.
Both in parallel.
Because
because the revenue is not coming and they have a very minimal capital. They have to look into it to recover. At the same time, they need to, secure the customers and maintain the existing customer and secure new customers. How do they do that? By digitization. So both in parallel, they have to work. Yeah.
Okay, so thank you. So for the next question is like, is there any discipline of studies has advantages in pursuing a career in consulting?
Skills, is it?
Yeah, or even like the maybe like some kind of field, maybe like which student maybe like field which study more, they can like become a consultant more easier.
Okay. Analytical skills, which I mentioned earlier, is very important for all the consultant. Apart from that, other soft skills that important for as a consultant is the negotiation skills, because you're going to deal with your clients most of the time. So you need to have a good negotiation skills in presenting your business proposal, in convincing them, so that negotiation skills is also important. And then as long as you can manage all this pressure coming from clients, manage your emotions, and which is very good to continue as a consultant. Also to look into the presentation skills. When you have a data, you analyze a certain data as a consultant, you transform the data into a report, graph, and explain to the and recommend that to clients. So you need to have a good presentation skills to read your graph that you have produced. And then you also need to have a negotiation skills, which means that whatever business proposal that you are sharing with your clients, you must, convince the clients to buy into your idea. So that is negotiation skills is also important.
Like convincing skill. All right.
Yeah.
So for the next question, which is since there are more businesses doing e-commerce, do you think that it will cause a significantly redundancy in the size of employee because lesser manpower is needed?
Okay. In terms of e-commerce, I think there could be some impacts in terms of the lesser employees that is required to work on e-commerce. But nevertheless, if the business grows, now everything is going via e-commerce, right? And your business demand also will grow, because when you focus on digitization, you will expand the market access to globally. Not only within the country, you will start looking into market access globally. So when you expand your business globally, I think the demand will increase more. But somehow we need more employees to manage the demands, when you start to expand globally. So I think we still need employees to manage the market demand when it goes dynamically. Yeah.
Okay, so for the next question is like, apart from waiting, give me a second, sorry. Give me, sorry, because I skipped a question. Okay, so apart from waiting for the situation to recover, is there any business opportunity that you feel like is potential to tap into?
Like I said, consulting firms. Consultation is the key. And also digital marketing, which you can help the businesses to market their product services quickly, maybe for the retailers. They do not know, because their mind is already like the way they work is like very traditional, So when you tap into these skills, how to be market your services digitally, I think this also help the businesses. And then this is where the consulting firms are coming in. The consulting firms are the most important firm that come up with these plans. Okay, they know. Okay, for example, for this retailer, okay, how do they go? How do they market? Okay, they have to market digitally. Okay, how do they change the strategy? Okay, they have to work in a different way and things like that. So consulting firm can give a good advice, for all the retailers to prepare to improve their businesses. Yeah.
Okay, so for the next question is many businesses are going online. How
Okay.
should the company differentiate themselves from the others in the competitive e-market?
Mm-hmm.
Ah, ah,
Differentiate
we
as
can,
in what terms?
give me a second, one going. So I think like because yeah we know like maybe like there's some brand like same similar brand maybe like Pardini or Uniqlo, so they are also like going online already. So how they need to be more competitive in this market because there's a lot of choices already. So how do you think like they can show like shine through their competitors or even like show more advantages throughout their competitors?
Yeah.
Mm.
First of all, the first key point is they have to take care of the clients.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the clients are very important, so they need to understand the requirement of the clients. So they need to study them. In this case, also they can study about the clients. What do the clients demand? What is their demand like? What is their requirement like? What kind of product are they looking? How do we need to customize the product according to their requirement? So customization will also help. You know, if let's say Pardini produce one type of dress which this color, maybe they can learn study about their regular clients. Okay, what are they looking for? Maybe they're looking for a different color. The trending is different, so they can also learn about trending, doing the customization according to the customer request. They can increase in this case and be a competitive in the market, and then also giving them some rewards, additional rewards, and looking into their delivery, because clients, as a human being, we need a satisfaction, right? As in the quality of the product, their preference, as long as you meet according to their preference, according to the quality that required with the faster delivery, quality could be high, but sometimes the delivery takes long, still the client will be frustrated. So they have to look into the main key areas that what the clients are looking for. And yeah, if they do customization, will be good as well to impress the customers,
Okay. So yeah, I think this is almost the last question. So is the consulting industry is a very saturated industry?
uh,
Sorry, can you get the question?
no, can you elaborate that?
Okay, so I think like is the consulting industry a very saturated industry? I think it's like very there's very competitive or even like it's very hard to tap into. I think what the audience mean from what I understand.
Okay. Yeah, like I mentioned that now the crisis happening across the globe. All the consulting firms may not only look into the local market, but they might, expand their businesses to global market where the demands will come, So as long as, the talents, whoever that we are hiring as a consultant, have the skills that required and can handle the consulting role, I think they will get into it easily. So the skills are very important. How you applying the skills into the real practical life is very important. As long as you gain the skills that consultant is required, and you apply it, and you manage your clients well, that's good enough already.
All right, cool. I think like that's almost the end of the Q&A session. So, is Miss Buspah, do you have any more like you do want to add on before we ending this Q&A sessions?
Yeah, I just want to, congratulate, the students who are pursuing the studies now. I think enjoy the study phase, as well as prepare yourself to enter the workplace, because the market you already know that the market is very competitive now itself. So imagine in another a few more months, it will be even more challenging. So as long as you prepare with your skills, you know how to apply in a practical life. This is what all the organization are looking forward from the new graduates. I think it will be good enough. So like I mentioned, that the skills that you obtain should not only be theory, but start to use it in a practical way now itself. Maybe like I mentioned in the beginning, attend more forums, workshops, have some online soft skill trainings. This is a basic foundation when you enter the workplace.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks a lot for the add-ons. So how about Mr. Fred? Do you have any add-ons? I think hello, Mr. Fred.
Do you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, I don't really have much, what I can say is, first of all, a big congrats, to students, of UUM. But this is just the beginning of your life. And I thought, like what Buspah says just now, choose your passion, what you're passionate about, and go towards it, So this is what I can say. Don't just because of the monies, someone else is paying you high paychecks, just then you chase after, In my thoughts, I always believe that if we can do something that we really love, I thought, you can really make a huge, success anyway. Yeah, choose what you love to do and practice it every day anyway. Yep. Good luck.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Fred, for the comments, for the fruitful comments. So, and at last, and I would like to thank you, Ms. Buspah, as well, for giving us such an insightful view about economics and consulting in this virtual sharing session. And I would like to take this opportunity to really appreciate GECB for spending their time really be with us and also listen all the process and help to make this session to be more and more successful. So, and lastly, I also hope the audience can gain some valuable experience throughout this session. So, I think so now it's almost the end of the session. So I would like to end this session, this virtual sharing sessions. And before we end, and also all the audience, so please wait for a while. So we will share a screen here. And as you can see, you can scan our QR code, which is the Facebook QR code, LinkedIn, and also Instagram. So from here, you can get more information about what is happening in a UIC, and also for the next virtual session probably. So yeah, I think that's almost the end of the session. So thank you everyone for really spend up your time to join us today. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Fred. Bye.
Thank you. Oh, yeah, by the way, lastly for the audience, so we will have a feedback form sharing link at the chat box there. So be sure to fill in that so that we can really get some feedbacks through all of you, so that we can really improve from all those comments and feedbacks. So yeah, is there any more questions? All right, so thank you, Mr. Buspah and Mr. Fred, so for spending time with us throughout the whole sessions. Okay, so
thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Lastly, this is the organizer, Yichen. Do you have anything to add on for ending the session?
So thank you everyone. We will be ending the meeting soon, and there will be another email tomorrow. We'll be sending the feedback form for you guys to fill it up. And thank you everyone for today.